Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled The 1995 Vote That Ended the Big 12. In 1995, 8 university presidents walk into a room expecting to finalize what would become the Big 12. They walk out having accidentally ended it. In this alternate history, one vote fails, Texas demands unequal revenue control, Nebraska refuses, Colorado panics, and instead of forming the Big 12, the entire power structure of college football fractures. Texas tests independence. Oklahoma tries to save the Midwest. The SEC sees opportunity and the Pac-10 hesitates. By 1999, the map looks nothing like the one we know now. This is the 1995 vote that ended the Big 12 before it began. And that set the table for the room where it happens. To understand how the Big 12 ends in this alternate history, you have to understand what actually made it possible in real life. The Big Eight needed Texas TV markets. The remnants of the Southwest Conference needed stability. Everyone needed money. But in 1995, Texas is not just negotiating membership, they're negotiating leverage. Behind the scenes, Texas administrators are exploring tiered media control, the ability to retain partial rights over their own broadcasts. That idea terrifies the Big Eight. Nebraska, fresh off national championship, refuses to enter a league where one member has structural advantage. The vote splits, not because Texas is weak, not because Nebraska is reckless, but because both believe they are protecting their future. And when the vote fails, the Big 12 never forms. Now the question becomes, if there is no Big 12, what happens next? And that sets the table for the fracture. Texas does not panic. In this alternate history, they pivot. They create a short-term scheduling alliance with, with Texas A&M, Arkansas, and national neutral site games. TV ratings spike. The SEC notices. Meanwhile, Oklahoma tries to salvage the Midwest. They lead what becomes the Central Eight, a defensive stability-first league built around tradition. But revenue drops. Exposure declines. Recruiting moves south. And Colorado? Colorado looks at the chaos and decides something radical. They will not wait for stability. They lead the formation of a Western Football Alliance built around Texas Tech, Baylor, Utah, and late-night TV windows. It's volatile, it's offensive, it's different, and it permanently changes the recruiting map out of the West. Now you may be thinking to yourself that Nebraska would never allow this to happen. Why wouldn't Nebraska just compromise? Because compromise meant long-term media imbalance, and in the mid-90s, Nebraska believed dominance on the field was safer than dependence on Texas. That pride fractures the room, and that sets the table for the SEC's power move. For 2 years, Texas operates independently, and it works. Ratings are strong. National relevance grows. Leverage increases. By 1998, as the BCS forms, the SEC sees the future. If Texas joins, the league becomes untouchable. But Texas does not join out of desperation. They negotiate revenue protections, divisional structure, national guarantees. In 1999, Texas enters the SEC, reshaping it. Oklahoma follows a year later, not as Texas's shadow, but as a strategic pivot after realizing the Central Eight cannot compete financially. Suddenly, the SEC becomes a superpower early, and the Big 12 never exists. And you may be thinking to yourself that Oklahoma would never abandon Nebraska, but remember, this is an alternate history where TV money accelerates earlier. Oklahoma doesn't leave tradition for ego, they leave because they see the ceiling. And Bob Stoops walks into an SEC ready program instead of a Big 12 program. That changes the entire early 2000s. And that sets the table for the Pac-10 miscalculation. The Pac-10 sees instability. They consider expansion, but internal votes fail. California schools resist dilution. Academic politics stall momentum. Colorado chooses Texas recruiting over Rose Bowl certainty. The Pac-10 hesitates, and in college football, hesitation is a big mistake. By the time they react, the SEC has expanded, the Midwest has shrunk, and the Western Alliance controls the late-night window. The balance of power moves south. You may be thinking to yourself that Texas would never risk independence in the 90s, but that's exactly why this alternate history is so dangerous. Because the leverage existed, cable is expanding, TV markets were consolidating, and the first school to understand media control and reshape the sport in this timeline, that school is Texas. Now let's set the table for the ripple effects. No Big 12 means no Big 12 title game, no Red River in Dallas under the Big 12 banner, no Big 12 North versus Big 12 South. Nebraska fights alone in the Midwest. Kansas State's rise looks different. Colorado becomes a Western offensive lab. The SEC accelerates dominance. The BCS structure forms around a different power map. And the 2000 going forward national championship pictures change dramatically. All because of one failed vote, one room, one fracture. This entire scenario is an alternate history, but it's built on very real incentives, real politics, and real financial pressure that existed in 1995. That's what makes this universe so compelling. Not fantasy, but proximity. And you may be thinking to yourself that this is too much change from one vote, but history shows us something important. College football is not stable, it's negotiated. And when negotiation fails, realignment isn't evolution, it's a byproduct of collapse. So, what do you think? If the Big 12 never forms, does Nebraska dominate the Midwest longer? Does Texas reshape the SEC even faster? Does Oklahoma win its 2000 title in the SEC? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into alternate history, hit that like button so more college football fans find this. Subscribe if you haven't already. We explore scenarios just like this all the time. And if you want to see other universes where one decision changes everything, check out the videos on your end screen right now. And I'll see you in the next timeline.